The US dollar is still the safe haven during periods of heightened economic uncertainty, as we can see on this chart. The red line shows economic uncertainty, and the blue line is the US dollar index. These areas show major financial crises, including the European debt crisis in the early 2010s, the US-China trade war in 2018, the pandemic in 2020, and the Ukraine-Russia war. Throughout each of these periods of heightened uncertainty, the dollar mounted a substantial appreciation, as the US economy was seen powering through. This trend persists to this very day. And to bring the point home, central banks around the world still prefer to hold reserves in the US dollar by a huge margin. The share of dollar reserves remains high at 58%. That's nearly 3 times that of the euros, the only credible competitor. The huge share of dollar reserves shows that the dollar's dominance remains strong. We're still very far from any currency surpassing the dollar's reserve share. There's also technical strength behind the dollar. This is the US dollar index, and it's been moving in this long-term upwards price channel going back to 2009. Despite the big dip earlier this year, we've not seen a long-term technical breakdown on the DXY yet. In fact, it's still stronger than post-2008 lows, when it hit 70, and it's far from crisis levels. Now, it's important to remember that Trump wants a weaker currency for the competitive trade advantage that brings, so there's a high chance he'll maneuver to weaken it further from here. And if Taiwan's currency appreciation, intentional or not, earns them a more favorable trade deal, it could incentivize other countries to do the same thing, weakening the dollar even more. This has drawn talk of a possible Plaza Accord 2.0, a repeat of the famous Plaza Accord of 1985, an agreement which intentionally depreciated the US dollar against a handful of other currencies. That led to a long slide in dollar valuation, as you can see here on the DXY. Either way, the US dollar is unlikely to lose reserve status in the very near term. This kind of thing would likely take on the scale of decades.